Good morning and welcome everybody to the 2025 Organic Sector Market Report online launch. Thank you so much for checking in with us this morning to hear about the incredible value that organics is bringing Aotearoa. Just quickly before we start, I want to introduce Lou Vicente, who is our amazing comms manager at OAN's. She is here to help us as I fiddle through some technology and help get our Q&As directed in the right place so that at the end of our presentation, we can make sure we have some time to hear your questions and answers. Please jot your questions as we go through the presentation into the Q&A, which should be located. There's a button at the bottom of your screen. We're in webinar mode, so you won't be able to just open up and chat as per normal. We'll have quite a few attendees today, so we'll run through the presentation. Logie Mackenzie is here from Kete Ora Trust, and we also have Noel Josephson, who will be joining us as well with a presentation, and then we'll follow with a short video from our friends at Assure Quality. Kete Ora Trust and Ceres Organics and Assure Quality are our gold sponsors. Without their support and the support of all of our sponsors, this report would not be possible. So I want to thank them personally. This has been a great relationship, and they're here to also give you some insights into the sector. So we will jump into the presentation. I'm going to take myself off screen for a little bit just to help with the presentation flow. And please, again, if you have any questions, put them in the Q&A and we will get to them at the end. Thank you. All right. Organic New Zealand's high value, low impact advantage is the name of our 2024 Organic Sector Market Report. As I said again before, thank you so much to our gold sponsors, Assure Quality, Ceres Organics, and Kete Ora Trust, who have been big supporters of our work at OAN's and the organic sector. They do incredible things for us. Our silver sponsors as well, Fonterra Organic, the Hirschberg Entrepreneurial Institute, their Organic Education Center, which is near Motueka, is a fantastic place. If you haven't been, you need to check that out as well. And our certification agency, BioGrow. And our bronze sponsors, Good4 and Hort NZ, really great organizations and companies to be involved with, and make sure you check out their great work as well. So let's start with a few basic and the fundamentals of what is organic. Organic agriculture is a lot more than just synthetic chemical-free farming. Sometimes people think of organics as just spray-free, but really, organics is a globally recognized system that protects our soil, our water, biodiversity, climate, and it's a system built on trust. It's verified through rigorous third-party certification, and it upholds the globally recognized values of health, ecology, fairness, and care. Those are the four principles that organic agriculture is embedded in. And organic certification spans the entire supply chain. So you've got to think of this as from paddock to paddock to plate. And it's both a production system and a values-based proposition that really speaks to the health of the people, our land, and future generations. Now, when we think about organics in a global context, it's pretty remarkable how well organics is doing. Globally, the organic food and beverage market is growing, and it's growing quickly. In fact, it's pretty much booming. It's right now the estimated global market for food and beverages is $280 billion. That was in 2024, and it's forecasted to reach $650 billion by 2033. That's a projected CAGR of around 14%. That's 11 to 14% growth every year, and that's far outpacing any conventional food sector. So if you think about it, it's really incredible. I'll give you an example of the US market. The US market is the number one in terms of growth in consumers that are buying organics. That market is valued at $72 billion. And it's still growing quite significantly. When we look at sort of the categories that are doing really well, it's organic fruit and vegetables make up the largest share of the global market, followed by organic meat, then dairy, processed foods, beverages, coffee, and then wine. In this year's report, we really wanted to bring in a lot of analysis and insights that we could share even more of our story here in Aotearoa. So if you look at the slide in front of you, you'll see that since 2020, the value of the organic sector has grown from 723 million to 1.8 billion. So we, for the first time ever, this report actually captures the rise of organics in food service. So we spend $190 million in cafes and restaurants and bars, further showing that organics is no longer a fringe option. It's really a mainstream high performance model. To be able to grow from 1.8 or 723 million, excluding food service, at a rate of 37%, that's a 37% increase, that's a CAGR of 8.1%, is really incredible. That is extremely fast growing, and it's something that we are very, very excited about to share today because it's incredible growth, especially for a sector that has no government funding or no assistance from other industry. New Zealand's export growth is also showing incredible performance, with markets share focusing in the United States, the EU, and Australia. And again, this success is really driven by these high value categories. So our number one is organic fruit and vegetables with 40.3%. Dairy comes in a close second at 35.3%, and wine at 12.2%. These are our leading sectors. They have been for a long time. Also makes sense when we look at what we export as a nation. And really these organic consumers around the world are looking for products from a trusted global reputation like New Zealand. They want high quality, they want integrity around an assurance system, that making sure that they're able to buy the products that mirror their ethos. And when you look at the report, which I hope you'll download, it's available on our website, you'll really, there's a case study in there that we talk about the categories that are emerging, like organic lamb, beef, and wool. These are great opportunities. As we saw in the previous slide, then I said the global meat market for organics is doing so well, and we are not there to really show our organic lamb and beef and wool into these markets yet, because we need scale. And the growth opportunities, though, are quite exciting, and I can't wait to start really focusing in on making sure that we hit these markets. Further into the what we call at a glance, so it's basically a one-page infographic that you'll see in the market report. And we're looking at why consumers buy organic food. Consumers want health and food safety above all else. They want to make sure that they are buying food that are devoid of synthetic chemicals and GMOs, that offer better nutrition. Others want to buy organics, or in addition to health and safety, are looking for environmental support. So those products that protect the health of our ecosystems, our biodiversity, our water and soil. And a growing number also are looking at buying products with superior taste and that have premium quality, that have great transparency from producers that they really trust. So this is why people around the world are buying organics, including why they're buying organics in New Zealand. The market report also shows how our domestic organic consumption has increased too. So we have gone into the supermarket data to understand what's happening there. The supermarkets have had exceptional growth in organics that were being sold in New Zealand. There actually was a 10% increase in the sale of organic produce, which was great to see from last year, from 2023 to 2024. So we're really excited to see a jump in that. But it's been an incredible journey to see consumers more and more buy organics within our local supermarket supply chains and in our independent stores as well. We also looked at certified land. We're growing slowly. We're almost at 90,000 hectares, and we need a lot more producers in the pipeline so that we can ensure we've got the scale and the ability to feed this growing market domestically and overseas. When we break down our hectarage, we see that we are growing despite some of the challenges that we see. The ongoing resilience and demand is still there, but we need stronger support. So as I said, we've got this really, really strong demand globally, and we have these great opportunities in front of us, but we need to get more producers in the pipeline so that we can reach the demand. The most livestock, as per previous reports, are in livestock, in horticulture and viticulture, again, matching our export numbers and the values there. Mixed and other, usually mixed farming, and we have recategorized that category to really reflect the smaller, often certified producers. But despite all of these strong performances, we need to really look at the structural barriers that are in front of us that are constraining our sector from reaching its full potential. So when we look at this, and this is where I say where the organic sector is working with one hand tied behind its back, because other sectors are well funded. They have the support of the government, they have the support of industry, and we continually have a hard time finding space within mainstream agriculture. But now with numbers like this and the continuous growth of organics, it's so important that we say, come on, this is no longer a niche. This is a well-proven market-based, market demand product that is needing the attention of our industry and our agricultural industries and our government. So with only 0.6 of our farmland certified organic, we are extremely high value. We produce a lot of high value products out of a little bit of land. And if we can imagine what 1%, 2%, 3% of certified organic would look like, that match more the global demand, or actually more the other countries that we're up against in terms of trying to make sure that we've got our products into the hands of consumers that are demanding them, we really, really have a huge opportunity to expand organics and get a lot of value per hectare out of it. The other thing that we've got that's top of mind for our sector to grow is that we really need to finish the national organic standard. We have to get these equivalency agreements, especially with the EU and the USA, over the line and finish. We need to keep working on that and move it, and government really needs to make this a priority. We also need to understand that the costs of rising, especially around cost recovery, are going to be very problematic for our sector. Those rising costs are hindrances to new entrants, and we need to make sure that we have a system in place with cost recovery in the government so that we can get more producers into our pipeline. And lastly, the government's proposed gene technology bill in its current form, we will not have an organic market. We will not be able to coexist with GE contamination that would be allowed under the current bill. So we are working, talking to the government as much as we possibly can to explain exactly how this will affect this industry, which would be absolutely devastating if this GE bill is not, if it's not thrown out, then it significantly has to be amended. So last night I presented to government at Parliament, and I love this slide because we were able to put the things that we're asking in 3 easy points. So we need to finalize the standard, we need equivalency, we need to create fair cost recovery, we need to work in true partnership. This is allowing for more transparency into the operations around the organic sector in MPI and other ministries. We need to protect the GE-free status so we can preserve trusted market positioning. The clean, green New Zealand image is going to be severely tainted, and we will risk losing premium access due to GM contamination. The loss of organic integrity, if we have GE all over the place and it's unregulated, we won't be able to withstand that type of market disruption. And third is I urge politicians to please invest in our growth. If you look at this as sort of a return on investment, we had the only money that the government has provided us substantially was $2 million 20 years ago. That is pretty crazy. Honestly, I'm so proud of this market, this organic sector in achieving $1 billion, because without any type of programs or growth strategy coming from the government at all, and to be sort of, I would just say, basically ignored, it is an incredible achievement. This organic growth, no pun intended, is absolutely incredible. And I really chalk it up to the tenacity and the hard work of the organic sector, of the producers, the retailers that stand behind them, and everyone across the entire supply chain. It's absolutely phenomenal. So pat on the back. Please give yourself a pat on the back, because I'm so proud. So when I spoke with government, I just said, look, the organic sector is ready to lead, but we can't do it alone. So we don't want special treatment. We want to clearly articulate that this is smart investment, that organics is New Zealand's highest value, lowest impact option of primary production. We are delivering things along the lines of the government's growth budget. We need to keep enabling this growth. Nowhere have I seen or heard of anyone achieving or delivering 34% growth despite the repercussions of a global pandemic and a supply chain crisis. And nowhere have I seen the tenacity and the drive as I do in organic production systems. And this is really about smart, evidence-based investment in a sector that's delivering so much beyond just the economic value, but what our producers are doing for the greater good for New Zealand. Farmers produce our food, our healthy food that we eat. They are stewards of our land in which we live, in the communities and the areas that surround them. They're, I say, some of the most important people on this planet, and I want to see them get paid really well for being stewards of their land and providing this great, nutritious products for us. And it's absolutely critical that we start recognizing the value beyond just the premiums and the value of the economy, but the true value that organics presents us. And we're meeting at the same time all the growth expectations and the increased export value that the government is seeking so clearly right now. These are real commercial results. These are real environmental results. These are real community results that are happening right now. So this report for us is really about creating a statement of readiness. we again prove that organics is working and it's delivering the benefits that align perfectly with our national interests. And the only question that I left the government with last night was, will you back it? And I'm excited. We had great conversations, and it was a wonderful event. And I'm so excited to share this with you online so that we can continue to seek alliance with the government, with our MPs. A lot of us have been very active in terms of meeting with MPs and working with the government to try to understand how the GE bill will affect organics. But it's also important that we continually meet with our local MPs to tell them, hey, this is what we're doing in our neck of the woods. This is incredibly valued to our communities, to our local businesses, and to help our regions thrive. So keep up the great work. I really appreciate it. And I am now going to hand over to Logie from Kete Ora Trust. He's a trustee of the Kete Ora Trust and also the owner of Fugitive Wines, an organic wine producer down in Marlborough. And wanted to make sure Logie had some time to share some words with you as well. Thank you.
Well, look, thank you all for taking the time to come along this morning, jump online and support the OAN's Organic Market Report for 2025. It's such an important report with fantastic insights into the value of organics in Aotearoa, which you've already heard some of those from Tiffany, and might touch on some of those things again a bit later on. But from our end, from the trust and as an organic supplier in Marlborough, really like to thank Tiffany and the OAN's team for all the work they do in the organic sector. It's a huge amount of work that I don't think people realise how much work they do lobbying government and MPI ministers and such forth. So big thank you to OAN's and Tiffany for the work they do. A little background on the Kete Ora Trust. This is a charitable trust that aims to promote research and education into biodynamic, organic and sustainable land management systems for agriculture, horticulture and animal husbandry. The trust also aims to grow awareness at consumer level of the benefits of purchasing produce from these systems. The trust is really focused on accelerating the transition of land in Aotearoa to regenerative agriculture, organic and biodynamic farming systems. As Tiffany report shows that certified land areas now reach nearly 90,000 hectares, which is an increase of 4.3%. That's good, but like Tiffany said, I think we can do a lot better, and there's massive opportunities for our organic produce overseas. So let's hope we can grow that even quicker. We know that organic and biodynamic practices enhance the quality of food and fibre that is so fundamental to our needs, and at the same time stimulate soil health for the good of the planet. The Kete Ora Trust has been awarding grants for over 25 years. We have seen an increase of nearly 300% in the number of applications over the last 3 years, as we've raised awareness in the Kete Ora Trust. We rely 100% on donations. We're always trying to balance the overall fund versus funding fantastic projects. It's a fine balance, so the more funds we have, the more projects we can support. The Kete Ora Trust has funded various projects from small workshops on biodynamic growing, covering costs of bringing international speakers to New Zealand, the initial phase of work on a food nutrient density project. The aim of this project is to compare the nutrient density of produce across current main production systems and organic and biodynamic systems. As I touched on earlier, it's also great to have been able to help fund specific projects that OAN's undertakes for the whole organic sector. These projects include the market report they are launching tonight. Well, sorry, they launched last night. And Kete Ora Trust has also helped fund some other OAN's work they do, raising awareness across all levels of government and government agencies on many issues, most recently the GE Technology Bill, which poses a real threat to organics in New Zealand in its proposed current form. As we can see from the report's data, it confirms that organics offer a high-value, low-impact opportunity, but we must act decisively to shift from recent extractive agricultural practices and systems to organically managed land practices and production systems. Kete Ora has supported many initiatives to help speed up this systemic shift in land use. Kete Ora works alongside farmers, growers, communities, and retailers to help remove barriers to transition, providing access to tools, networks, and funding pathways that enable systemic change. We also work with organizations to educate consumers on the benefits of purchasing organic and biodynamic food for the environment and also human health. As the market report shows, organic production is already delivering stronger soils, better water quality, and trusted exports with high value. Kete Ora Trust supports these outcomes by investing in projects that offer education and support for these management practices that protect and enhance our soils, ecosystems, and strengthen our food systems resilience. Our commitment to partnership. While not a Maori-led organisation, Kete Ora Trust values collaboration with Kapapu Maori growers and many other organisations or individuals who also recognise the need for diverse, inclusive approaches to food and land management system reform. My closing message, the data is really, really clear. Transitioning more land to organic production systems is a strategic, future-focused move to increase export value and protect our land. Coupled with educating consumers on the multi-layer benefits of purchasing organically and biodynamically grown produce. Kete Ora Trust is here to help make that possible and at scale. The market report is one critical part of the picture to understand the true value of the organic sector, its growth and relevance within our agricultural and horticultural production systems in Aotearoa. So thanks again to OANZ for the opportunity to talk about the trust. Thanks for all your work, and yeah, really great to see such strong data coming out in the market report. So thanks again.
Thanks, Logie. I really, I hope all of you get a chance to look at Kete Ora Trust, their website. They are a wonderful, wonderful organization. We're so lucky to have them in our ecosystem. Check them out. They do great work. We are so appreciative of them helping to sponsor us. And yeah, just make sure you go to keteoratrust.org, I believe. Is that the website, Logie?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Now I'd like to introduce Noel Josephson, who is a board member of OANZ. He is a co-founder of Ceres Organics, and he's the chair. He's a sector legend, and Ceres has done so much. I'm sure most of their food is in your cupboards even right now. So I'll hand it over to you, Noel. Thank you. Oh, you're just on mute.
Tēnā koutou katoa, and special greetings to our treaty partner, Te Waka Kai Ora. Thanks for the introduction, Tiffany. Ceres is New Zealand's leading brand of organics, and now we're also the leading independent brand in Australia. We work with farmers. We not just in New Zealand, in about 30 countries around the world. We've built up a network of like-minded people into a community of economic well-being. And we've developed our own supply chain to link farmers and their processes with consumers in Australia and New Zealand. It's not just dollars and goods that flow. It's like holding hands around the world, like-minded people. Alongside organics as the first fully traceable food system in the world. So who buys organics? It's central to it is mothers, but not just mothers, a few fathers that really care for the well-being of their family. They want food. They know they want food free of chemicals. They know that it's food is chemicals have been food's been tested for odd chemicals here and there. There is zero testing on the cocktail of chemicals that could be in your food. It's also people trying to find a diet that suits them. Within the last couple of decades, a huge rise in food allergies and illnesses. And more recently, it's consumers and a lot of young consumers that choose organic food as their way of helping against climate change. All these people know that the true cost of food has to include your health, human health, and the planetary health. So what is organics? A lot of people just refer to organics as pesticide free and GE free, but that's really not grasping what organics is about. Organics is about human beings trying to find a much closer relationship with nature, working with the rhythms of nature. And as any good, any long-standing biodynamic or organic farmer will tell you, nature operates at an octave above our thinking. And all these attempts by scientists to manipulate nature are clumsy and end up with the environmental problems we have today. Science knows the physical world. It does not know the living world of nature. And of most human actions, endeavors are planet depleting and take away from the life of the earth. Organics and biodynamics are one of the few human activities that really bring life to the earth. A principle of evolution is that change always comes from the periphery. It never comes from the center. And this market report shows that organics is sitting strongly at the periphery. It's really about people. It's being driven by people. And it's not just about growth and dollars. It's actually about real solutions to the human challenges of today, towards the challenges of humanity and towards the challenges of the earth. The EU, in the EU, organics is past tipping point, and they have a policy of trying to turn 25% of their agricultural land organic by 2030. New Zealand, as an agricultural nation, is lagging in the developed world towards the rear. We have very little support for organics. Yet organics can offer a lot. It can offer a very high return for agriculture. It can leave the land pristine for the other pillar of the New Zealand economy, tourism. It offers a solution to climate change by sequestering carbon in the soil, by protecting biodiversity, by bringing better practices and well-being to our waterways. It brings regional development, and also the worldview of organics is very similar to the Maori view of Papatūānuku. So we offer a path of coming together. Thank you.
Thank you, Noel. We also wanted to share a video that Assure Quality wanted to, made for you today. So I'm going to just switch on over to sharing this video, and then we'll head to Q&A.
To support Organics Aotearoa New Zealand with the launch of its 2024-2025 Organic Market Report, a comprehensive analysis of New Zealand's organic market, providing essential insights for stakeholders across the industry. Our support for this report reflects our passion for working with organic producers. The ethos of growing safe and healthy food while protecting the land goes hand in hand with our purpose here at Assure Quality, to help Aotearoa shape a better food world. We embrace our role as kaitiaki kai, guardians of food, and we are mindful of our shared responsibility to do the right thing for those eating our food and for the environment where it is grown. In today's market, consumers are increasingly seeking products that are produced sustainably. Organic certification provides assurance that producers are meeting the highest environmental and ethical standards, helping them to unlock markets and secure premium pricing for their products. Assure Quality is recognized as a trusted leader at the forefront of New Zealand's thriving organic industry. Our expert team supports organic producers right across the primary sector at every stage, from farm production to export readiness. With permanent, dedicated auditors, we ensure an efficient certification process with digital tools to help streamline tasks like creating organic management plans and input tracking. And we offer additional support services such as specialist residue testing. At Assure Quality, we're excited to see the growth of the organic sector and our inspiring organics producers. We are proud to partner with Organics Aotearoa New Zealand and recognise their hard work in promoting the sector through advocacy, collaboration and ecosystem support. We extend our congratulations on the publication of the 2024-2025 Organic Market Report.
Awesome. It's really great to see the hard work that AQ is doing as well. And making sure we have strong certifiers in our ecosystem is incredibly important to make sure that our program to be able to get food to the hands of domestic consumers and our consumers overseas. So thank you to Assure Quality as well. Now, let's start the Q&A. There's quite a few things that are coming in. And I do want to caveat, there's quite at the beginning of our Q&A, there's quite a few questions popping up around GE. I don't really want to take away from the limelight of the organic sector report. We do a lot of work with GE, and we are stating that GE, the bill in its current form has the potential to basically take out our sector. So we need to work with government to ensure that that doesn't happen. And we've been really working hard advocating for the organic sector. There was a quick question around other key markets that have GE, and the idea that of coexistence is what we call it, with GE and non-GMO. This is a tough question in terms of, the USA has it or Australia has it, and they still have an organic market. Well, the USA has a lot of GE. They have also a very, very different type of farming system than we do here in New Zealand. I'm American. I have firsthand experience of the lawsuits and the loss of farms and organic farmers leaving the sector. To have a $72 billion value organic sector and have to import 80% of your products to meet the demand for that sector, when America basically produces food to feed their own people, tells me a lot about the organic sector there, and that there's a lot of transition that could happen to organics. And while that is picking up, especially in states like California, the American food system is horrific. It is completely broken. It is contaminated with not just GMOs, but with glyphosate and a lot of other harsh chemicals, Agent Orange style. It is a disgraceful food system, and there's a lot of people in America that are trying to clean that up. They're importing food to feed their own citizens healthy food from other countries because they can't produce it there. So that's a big insight into the theory that coexistence works really well. We have seen time and time again, even in Australia, the Australian organic cotton market completely folded up. And there is no longer organic cotton coming from Australia because of contamination, widespread contamination of GMOs, especially with rapeseed. So these are different stories. New Zealand has a very unique farming system. It is a tapestry. It is not big giant blocks like the space that you have in some of these other countries like China and the US and Australia. So contamination is real. Its coexistence is almost impossible. And if this bill were to carry on as it is with just willy-nilly GMOs being able to just go out into the environment unregulated, it would be absolutely disastrous for our ecosystems, and pretty much every farmer here in New Zealand would be GMO. So I'll just leave that at that. We can talk about GMOs at another time. We constantly are, but I don't want to take away too much time from our market report. The next question talks about, let's see.
Hey, Tiffany, Martin Lemack is asking, hard question to answer, but how much of the growth we can see in the organic sector is due to unsaturated, unmature markets for organic products?
Most of the markets that we're shipping to and exports, our top markets are the US, the EU, Australia, Japan, and one other, and I can't believe I can't remember because I don't have it in front of me. I can look back in the thing, but they're mostly mature markets that consumers recognize the value of organics. They are seeking organic products. There is a large percentage of organic consumers in those markets. Those are our biggest markets. We do ship to a heck of a lot of countries, even in all over Asia Pacific. There's lots of products going into South Korea. There's other markets, but really the mature markets with the biggest consumers are where we're finding our exports leading in.
And Richard Rennie's also asking, what are the key elements that still require more work to be done in the National Organic Standard to be complete?
Yeah, so cost recovery, actually MPI just launched cost recovery consultation yesterday. You can go to, there might be a website, Lou, that you can put out, but it came out through their newsletter. This cost recovery is the next big chunk that we're going to have to go through as a sector. This is basically the fees that our sector has to pay to have MPI run an organic program. That's the next big hurdle. After that, we have to do, we'll look at the notice content of the regulations that are hopefully coming out before too long. We need to finish that and go through consultation. We need to go through enforcement and infringement consultation before we can get everything finalized. Equivalency agreements are working away in the background, but we need to get them done. This MPI, the MPI Organics team is working really hard, but I feel as if they have one hand behind their back as well, because the priorities of this government are putting, working with the Parliamentary Council Office, who do all the writing on legislation. They're really busy with all the other legislation that's coming through really quickly. So we're competing for resources for people to be able to complete things like our regulations. And that makes it difficult and it slows the process down. And we are not at the priority level of other regulations. And I don't think that's good enough, which is why we're saying, let's get this done. Let's focus on it and let's get more market access. Any other questions?
Marty Robinson is asking in the Q&A,
Yep.
you are only including the certified organic sector. Do you have any details or understanding of the amount of quantity and value from uncertified organic growers and producers that would be certifiable but for the cost of compliance rules?
I don't, because we don't have a way to, we don't know who all those uncertified producers are. Through this certification, we understand through the certifiers what producers are certified, and that data is easily, available. What we don't know is those that aren't certified. So unless you're in transition, we understand, okay, we know that, there's several thousand producers that might be in transition, but we don't know anybody outside of that at this point in time. We don't have a way to really gather that data. Not yet, but that's a really good point.
Paul Irwin, I'm not sure if we can answer this question, but he's saying there is a huge increase in bowel and other cancers, and at a much younger age. What impact is this having on consumer awareness of the health benefits of eating organic products?
Actually, Noel, this might be a good question for you to answer.
And on the same vein, Robert's asking, is there a school of thought or a portal to provide education on nutritional information using organic products to consumers?
I don't know the answer to that second bit, but I think yes, as people are becoming aware of organics, and usually when they're ill, they do begin a search for what food to eat, and they are coming to organics very definitely. Organics and biodynamics.
Lou, I think we have time for one more. Do you have one more question?
Phil is asking, again, this is on the GE, but it's a very quick question. How can we better encourage our influential stakeholders such as Fonterra, Silver Fern Farms to bat against the GE bill? Now, I know you can answer this one, Tiffany.
Yeah, we need to call them. You need to call them. You need to meet with them. You need to get to the right people and consistently demand to be heard. This is a big deal. This changing status for New Zealand is big. I mean, it's obviously big for the organic sector, but it is big for every farmer out there. It is big for every consumer out there. It changes the whole dynamic of how we sell things in New Zealand and how people will view us. It'll affect our tourism and everything. So if leading companies like, Silver Fern Farms, they need to know how you feel. And so do your politicians, your MPs need to know how you feel. If you look at the amount of companies and, small businesses, large businesses, everybody that wrote submissions in on the Gene Tech bill, as we're going through them, it is overwhelmingly anti-GE bill. Whether or not our voices are heard by this government is really up to us to keep that pressure on to make sure our MPs know how we feel and those businesses know how we feel.
So write letters, send emails, get meetings with them.
Call. Be annoying. Do it.
Absolutely. On the ON's website, we have some really good resources in what's called the Activation Toolkit, which I've just linked in the chat. So there's letter templates in there and there's some ideas on what you can do. So share it, please.
Robert, you just said, can we set up a portal? Let's discuss. That's a great idea.
I just want to come in here, Tiff, and say thank you to all the people that have donated money to OANZ to help our GE campaign. It wouldn't have been possible without donations. And actually, us continuing was relying on further donations.
Thank you, Noel. Yeah, that's a very, very important part. We've lawyered up, we've advocated, we are in Wellington on a consistent basis. We've talked about science, we've talked about the legal aspects of the bill. We've talked about the economic aspects of the bill. We did a report with NZIER, and none of this would have been possible without all the funding that has come in from the sector and beyond. So absolutely, thank you so much. The next part of this is that we will hear back from the select committee. They will have a report back to Parliament. Once that report is back, they will schedule a second reading and determine if this bill, how this bill moves forward. That'll be a really important time for us. Again, we need to make sure we understand what and if there's any new amendments, if it's what those amendments mean to our sector, and if we can live with it. If we can't, what needs to change, and we have to then advocate again on those next changes, and we'll have to do it very quickly. And again, we'll need to get the assistance of our legal counsel to help us achieve those goals. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming today. If I haven't gotten to your question, I'm very sorry, but you can always email us. We try to get to, answer your questions as much as we possibly can. We're so excited about the great news of this market report. It is truly awesome news, and everyone is, man, I'm just so proud. I'm so excited to be part of this sector, and I love consuming all of your products. So thank you so much for all your hard work. Thank you for joining us today, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Aotearoa.
Thanks, everyone.